The deafening chaos of an NBA championship game and the suffocating silence of a corporate hallway operate under a shared mechanical reality of intense, unyielding pressure. Managing massive egos, preventing burnout, and balancing a grinding daily process against the absolute need to win are challenges that bridge the gap between the court and the office. By decoding the psychological tactics developed by 5 of the greatest basketball coaches of all time, we can uncover a battle-tested approach for modern business leadership. We begin with the grandfather of this lineage, John Wooden. He built a system where winning was treated as a byproduct of internal character, a peace of mind that came from knowing you gave your absolute best effort. He famously spent the first practice of every single season teaching championship-level college athletes the exact right way to put on their socks and tie their shoes. Wrinkled socks cause blisters. Blisters keep players off the court, and those missing minutes lose games. In a business context, this mirrors the risk of a junior employee delivering a slide deck filled with sloppy data extracts or typos. These minor errors erode client trust, eventually leading to lost accounts. Pausing a strategic review to make a team manually validate 3 rows of raw data enforces a vital rule. Foundational precision is the mandatory price of admission for higher-level persuasion. By the 1990s, management on the hardwood became a battle between 2 fierce opposing philosophies, East Coast grit versus West Coast zen. First, the commander. Pat Riley ruthlessly fought what he called the disease of me, selfishness. To enforce his standards, he required every player to buy into a team covenant, a promise of shared sacrifice. When an exhausted team begins to drift toward coasting, the Riley move is to force a public choice. You acknowledge the fatigue, but you demand a collective decision to either settle for an acceptable deliverable or dig in for excellence. Then there's the guide, Phil Jackson. He faced the challenge of managing the most massive, untamable egos on the planet, knowing that blunt force would only cause them to rebel. Jackson gave his players specific books before long road trips, choosing titles designed to address their individual psychological blocks and personality defects rather than their physical skills. For an arrogant corporate superstar who alienates the team, you assign a sacrifice role. Tell them their only job in the next workshop is to stay quiet and guide a junior colleague toward finding the answer themselves. This requires a high level of psychological discipline. It teaches a high performer that empowering others is often more difficult and more valuable than individual brilliance. Next comes Greg Popovich, a master of relational leadership. He balances a deep personal care for his employees with direct, often harsh professional criticism. Popovich regularly hosted 3-hour team dinners to intentionally forge a family dynamic, tight-knit enough to withstand radical, uncomfortable candor. Delivering a harsh performance review to a well-liked, popular employee is a difficult scenario for any manager. The Popovich approach is to take the heat publicly to protect the team, but privately separate the work from the individual. You check on the person first, then deliver the blunt truth about their deliverables. Radical accountability is a bitter pill, but it fosters deep loyalty when it is wrapped in an authentic human relationship. This brings us to the modern evolution of team leadership, Steve Kerr. He is the great synthesizer, having directly played for both Jackson and Popovich. Kerr absorbed Popovich's discipline and Jackson's mindfulness, then injected his own distinct elements of joy and deep vulnerability into the mix. In a meeting where you hit a knowledge gap, the Kerr move is to pass the marker. You publicly admit what you don't know and immediately defer to the authority of a junior expert in the room. By yielding authority in a critical moment, you create the space for a junior colleague to step up, building a future leader in real time. This diagram shows the evolutionary lineage of these 5 distinct leadership philosophies. It tracks how Wooden's foundation of character branched into Riley's standards and Jackson's psychological framing, eventually merging into Popovich's relational truth and Kerr's collaborative vulnerability. Master the basics, enforce a shared covenant, focus on personalized psychological growth, take the bullet while delivering the hard truth, and empower your people through vulnerability. Look at those 5 distinct approaches and ask yourself an honest question. Which one feels the most unnatural or intimidating for you to actually try tomorrow morning? That exact spot, the one that makes you the most uncomfortable, is precisely the area where you need to grow to achieve championship-level success in your own career.